According to the data model, we will see the main concepts. We will see how to create a database, how to use some nesting in order to make some kind of extended relational databases, and how to, of course, denormalize the schema. The data model is a kind of relational database, but with more complex data types. For the database, we call it the Casebase in Cassandra. For tables, you have table and column families. And for rows, the tuples inside the table, it's a row. So the first site we can have on Cassandra is to denormalize your schema. The second site is a row is a document, like a JSON. So it's easier to see the document itself than a denormalized schema. Every piece of data is composed of one key, the identifier, the primary key if you want, and a row. This row can be simple or complex value, but the main point is the row is typed. So rows are typed by a schema. So you have to define a schema, and every insertions inside the table must validate the schema. The most important thing to remind is if you want to make your database very efficient, use the key. If you use a key, every query will be very efficient. First, on Cassandra, we create a Casebase. A Casebase is a database. So you create a Casebase. Here we use the company Casebase with some replication strategy. We'll see afterwards what is a replication strategy here with 3 replicates. And inside the database, you have column families or table. So here we have the table flight, in which we have all the information according to the flight of a plane and the crew we have inside. And over it, we can create indexes. Like here, it's an index on the table flight with the attribute pilot. In order to insert information, it's very simple. We use only insert into with the schema and the values. But we can see here that we can also integrate data with the JSON documents. To query the data, we'll see that SQL is very simple. It's a simplified version of SQL. Here you can see that select from where is used in order to look at the first flight, which is identified by the ID flight number 1. Different types of data types can be found. For instance, we can have the timestamp, and every information is timely registered inside Cassandra. So you can make updates with timestamps. Here, for instance, you can update an information using a specific timestamp in order to keep this information or to modify in the past or in the future. And if you have different timestamps according to the information in a single row, you can see here that we have an update on the pilot and the copilot, but the information we can see at any time and can be queried is the projection on every updates and every timestamps. However, we can get the information about the update time. Here, for instance, with the function write time, you can have the information of when this attribute has been updated. So we can have this information. But you cannot have the information according to a given timestamp. So only the timestamp of the update. And we can remove information according to a given timestamp and coming back to a previous version, for instance. According to this timestamp, we have the TTL. A TTL is a time to live information that we can put on an update, and it's a kind of trigger that is automatically generated to make the data disappear at, for instance, here 1 hour with 3,600 seconds.